Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, we have the Vixera Shard Summon available now inside Watcher of Realms. It's the first time we've had a fusion in probably like 4 or 5 months at the very least. So I'm definitely going for it. I'm going to do a dedicated video to her at some point and talk about her kit, why I'm going for her, all those sorts of good things. Let me know down in the comments, of course, if you are going for this fusion as well. Interestingly enough, though, so I got clickbaited into opening their link there, which is a bit of a shame. We have a summoning event going on, so we have a 20x chance for a Valeria, who I do already have, and I have her A2, so having her A3 would be pretty cool. But then we also do have a Numera, who is a new champion, so I'm going to be pulling most of my shards here. We're definitely going to be doing all of our rare summons and just see what we can do. We also have the Arrival of Heroes live, as well as the Spiritual Altar. So Spiritual Altar, if you can do some good numbers in here, is generally one of the better ways to be getting like your skill crystals, as well as like some, you know, legendary summoning crystals. Now, speaking of which, with our legendary summoning crystals, it has been 3, 6, 9, 12, not 12, sorry, 11, no, 12, I was right, I should have just stuck with it. So it's been 12 sacreds, or 12 divine summons since we've gotten a legendary, which the pity does actually start to kick in after 12. So we are now going to have an increased chance of 5% per divine that we open to get these. And there is the 2x chance banners for both of them, but we're definitely going to be pulling on the 20x banners because I want to try and make sure that we get one of these heroes. In terms of other heroes that I'm looking for, so I'll actually show you guys real quick here. Because, as I always say, I am a 100% free-to-play player, but it's also important for you to know who I already have on my account, so you know who I might be looking for here. So I have a lot of the legendaries inside the game, obviously, right? Maloric, probably one of the most disappointing legendaries I pulled. Not gonna lie, I have an entire video breaking him down. So if we go ahead and take a look at the gallery, there's not actually many legendaries that are not ancient exclusive that I don't have. So we're really just looking for awakenings that would be impactful at this point. Fenris would be pretty cool to get. You know, if we could get ourselves I think a Beelzebub is in this summoning pool as well, so a Beelzebub would be absolutely fantastic. And then I wouldn't actually mind a Beatrix as well. So those would be decent options. I have every single epic inside the game though, so it'd be kind of cool if I pulled the fusion, but I have a feeling that they lower the rates a lot for the fusion while the fusion's going on, because that would make the most sense. So, you know, definitely excited to guarantee myself a legendary inside the divine summonings though, so we'll see how that goes. I did pull some legendaries very recently on... Here we go! I was going to say, I did pull some legendaries very recently on these shards, though, so I wasn't expecting too much, but here we go. We do have a legendary. Let's see who it is. Is it somebody on the 20x? It is Croc. Croc. I'll have him A2 now, at least, so yippee. I'll show you the summoning record for that, though, but I did pull very recently. I pulled a Hatsuit, and then... it didn't show it actually, but I think this was a 1+1. So I pulled a Hatsuit as well as somebody else there, but I mean, it is what it is. Let's go ahead, keep summoning, see if we can't get ourselves another legendary. We get back-to-back, baby. Let's go. Let's see if the 20x actually kicks in this time. Come on, don't give me another crack. I swear to God, 2 heroes are on a 20x rate. We'd expect to get one of them. We do get Numera. Let's go. We got her, ladies and gentlemen, within 20 shards. Hell yeah. This makes up for not getting the Talon when I pulled like 200 and some shards, I would say. So you know what, Watcher of Realms, you've made up for it. I'm okay with that. 2 legendaries within 20 shards is just absolutely insane. Or was it 30 shards? I didn't even know. I wasn't keeping track, but we only had like 60 shards. I was not expecting these rates. This is absolutely insane. So hell yes, I am not going to complain about that. And all right, let's go ahead and do another 10 pop here, see if we can get anything crazy. We get an epic, which is cool. You know what? A Cyclone, sure. At worst case scenario, I can sell them for more points to spend in the shop, right? And we're getting more Altar of Souls points with the epics coming out too. Unfortunate how many rares we're seeing though. But it is what it is. Now, if I could get, again, an awakening for an impactful champion, so like if I pulled an Eloin here, that would be pretty cool. I already have an Eloin, and I think she's A1. If Moonton just wanted to, you know, slide me, we're going to go ahead and do one more pull, by the way. If Moonton just wanted to slide me, like, you know, some copies of Kigiri, even though he's an exclusive champion and you can't pull him from this, you know, that would be pretty cool. So I could get my Kigiri, like, A5. You know what? Hell, we're going to go in one more time with our crystals and see if we can get anything good. We don't. It's just going to be an epic. Bit unfortunate. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to hop over to the champion cell tab and see if we can get enough for another 10 pop. When I go in, I like to go in big. I'm like very much a late game player inside this game, so really the only time I find myself pulling is during like fusions, as well as when there's new heroes added to the game, because again, my account has pretty much everybody, right? So the only time that it's going to be really impacted if I get like a crazy new hero or something like that. Quick call out, by the way, Amelie, I think is how you say her name. I'm going to be doing a video on her at some point, because she's actually kind of cracked for a 10 cost rare marksman, right? She has decent reviews, but look at this. Basic attack deals damage to one enemy. You don't know how much damage, right? But check this out. An ultimate on a 500 cost when it's booked deals 300% damage and inflicts defense reduction on the target for 5 seconds with a 25% minus on the defense. And then also attacks inflict defense reduction on the target, so a 10% minus defense lasting for 1.5 seconds, right? Which you can book this all the way up to be like, what, 3.5 seconds? She's basically a permanent defense down champion, which is pretty crazy, again, for a 10 cost marksman. So something cool to call out there. We're going to do one more pull. If it was a legendary here, that would be pretty cool, but it does not happen, unfortunately. So we're going to go back over to the divine summonings here, and let's start pulling some heroes. So let's see how long it takes us to hit a legendary. We're guaranteed to hit a legendary here, which is nice because it's within 20 summons. But if I can save some of these, that would be pretty awesome. I certainly wouldn't complain. Here's our legendary, ladies and gentlemen. What do we get to finish this off? We get another Numera. Let's go. Hell yes. Now the question is, do we want to keep pulling? I'm going to say probably not, but let's go ahead and take a look at the events and see kind of where we're at. Arrival of heroes, we've maxed out without an issue, so we already have our summons from there. And then let's go ahead and take a look at the spiritual altar. Are we close to anything good? We are close to a skill crystal, which I would say would be pretty impactful. So we're going to see if we can get to the 7,000 points at least and potentially get that. So we're going to go ahead and sell here. We have enough for another 10 pull on the rares, so let's go ahead and do that. See if we can't get something a little crazy here. Just another bunch of rares, unfortunately, but that is going to give us like another 200 points. Let's go ahead and do maybe 2 more special divines here. Another like 2 Numeras back to back would be pretty cool. I mean, you know, I wouldn't complain about that. I gotta plug in my headset real quick. It's like constantly chirping at me here that the battery's low.
Charging battery.
There we go. We do get Osiren. Let's go ahead and see if we've gotten the next points here from the spiritual altar. We have. Now, I am going to go over Numera's kit super quick if you're not familiar with her, and also check out the Awakening. So, Numera here. Let's take a look. She is a pretty badass looking version of like a female Uvar, right? With a dual faction membership inside the Esotericist as well as the Star Piercers, so her range can get increased. Now, that being said as well, the epic that we have for the fusion is another faction leader for the Esotericist, which is insane. But her skills, she has a basic attack, grants a Grimthorn Spike, so it can be launched. She has a very weird basic attack range, but like I say, this will get expanded with the Lord bonus anyway, so she deals damage. Ultimate gives her the spikes. She launches the spikes, and then she inflicts poison. She has a passive where her Grimthorn spikes are, so the Grimthorn spikes from this are going to inflict stun, right? So that means that she can potentially inflict like a couple of stacks of stun, which means that she could be good for Guild Boss 2, like the Semra, right? So that would be pretty crazy. And then she also does give Toxic Surge as well, where she basically consumes the poison effects and then like just detonates the poison effects, essentially, is what she's doing. And then she also has continuous damage that gets inflicted, as well as damage reduction. So she's definitely going to be making it into my Semraw team. And then for the A1 on her, during the ultimate, she increases her damage by 25%, and the damage dealt by Grimthorn's Spike as well as Toxic Surge guarantees a critical hit. That's pretty crazy, in all honesty. So even if you don't have her built with full crit rate, she's still going to be doing absolute numbers for you. So she is pretty fantastic. Very, very cool looking champion too, right? Like, look at this. Such a badass character design. The character designers in these games never fail to let us down. And she has a very awesome pair of eyes on her as well. But look at this. Literally just a female Eobar. This is awesome. That being said, though, let me know down in the comments, of course, how your guys' summons went. Discord's linked down in the description as well if you want to go ahead and hop in there and just brag about the summons that you may or may not have gotten. And, of course, channel memberships are live, so you can get in and support the channel for a little bit more than just a regular subscription, right? So, as always, though, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.